You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the LaTangela Show podcast. Now, today in the hot seat on the tan line, I'm just going to say I got that guy, right? He is that guy. He pulls up on the scene and he makes it happen, and he is definitely going to etch it out, make it clear, and even quite colorful for you. I have the 3-time published author, but I've got further questions that need further answers from Mr. Kirston Pittman. How are you?
I'm doing well, dear. How about you?
So far, so good. That microphone gonna be your best friend. Because, see, the last thing I want you to do is run from it. You are a man of many words, and we want to hear every single
Not
one
many
of them.
words.
Many.
Okay.
And I can say many because I got the books.
Hey.
I got the books.
Hey, proof.
I got the books,
You
right?
got facts.
As an author,
Yeah.
as a songwriter, as an artist, just across the board, I know that you are plentiful with words.
Okay, thank you.
So as we paint this vivid picture today, tell me a little bit about how did we get here? How did you know that you wanted to take it from a passion to a part of your purpose where you would ink stories that would help translate life issues?
Oh, wow. That was a very loaded question.
And I'm here for it. I got time today.
I mean, I started writing at 13 when I was a kid. And it wasn't until maybe 2013, 2014. I used to watch a lot of the news, and bullying was real big in America at that time.
Yeah, still.
And so when exactly,
Yeah,
right?
crazy,
so
right?
Insane at this point.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song called a StarFace song, you know, something I would use as an ode to dedicate to the kids that were going through bullying. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and you know, I was like, yo, I'm thinking about making this into a story, woo. And she was like, well, maybe you should. So I woke up the next day and I pretty much just wrote the whole story freehand, and ended up finding the right illustrators to illustrate the book, and taking it to that next level and getting everything published. And so that one led to the next one, and then that led to the next one. But
if you had to pick your favorite one,
it would be The Adventures of Stacey StarFace, which is the anti-bullying book for the kids, for the babies.
do it for the babies.
Always for the youth, always for the babies. And to empower, encourage, and enlighten, that's pretty much the theme of the book. Encouraging the kids using positive verbiage and positive language within the book. And I also have the story in the book as well. So I'm just wanting to reach the kids and get to the kids and work with them on their mental health and positive self-talk and positive speech and positive imagery and things along those lines. So because the mental health piece is so big right now in the anti-bullying and the suicide rate that goes along with the with the bullying. So we just want to take steps to do what we can, do our part to curb those numbers and, you know, reach the babies for the most part.
Very commendable. And I'll tell you this, even as adults, we find it hard to be able to really work through and go through the process of saying we're not okay, or I don't know how to handle this. Life is out here lifing, and nobody has the exact manual, but you know, if we could just take tidbits from things as if we may be the only version of a Bible that people get, and kindness goes a long way. And sometimes we have to learn, because it's a technique, and we're gonna have to practice it, but we gotta learn to listen for a level of greater understanding versus listening just to give you a rebuttal or just being so combative.
More empathy.
Just a tad.
You know what I mean? And it, because, you know, a lot of the times we're taught to, you know, just strap it up and keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and especially you men. You men ain't supposed to cry.
There you
Suck
go.
it up and keep going, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be hard. So if you're being taught that, and that's constantly being preached to you, so all you're going to do is internalize everything. You're not going to be vocal about what you're going through, what you're feeling, and things like that. And you're just going to buckle it up and keep on going. And the more you internalize, the more that thing just snowballs, and that turns into the numbers that we don't like to see, and that turns into the behaviors and the patterns and the way that the kids are acting out these days when they are being bullied and things like that. So we just want to take those steps to open that door for a conversation, and have some engagement with the kids, which is the reason why I want to get out into the community, get into the schools where I know the kids are going to be, and with the school boards and with the people in academia to spread that message and get that out to the kids.
Absolutely. And you know, you've always been the fly guy on the block.
Not necessarily.
There's always been the fly guy on the block, so it's not like they're walking around here bullying you, right? How did you come to to the space where you said, I want to stand up for the guy that's being bullied, the one that may not have the support system at home, the one that may not have the confidence of Kirston when he walks through the door saying, hey man, you know, I showed up, it should be enough, you know, because you just give off this presence of today is going to be a great day, and people just typically don't come at you sideways. But for those who may be a little more timid and life is giving them unfortunate situations to where they feel alone, and it makes them a target. How did you identify that you wanted to be the voice for the voiceless?
For me, it was really, as I look back upon my experience when I was in college, when I was at LSU, and all of the adversity that I faced when I was there. You know, having the injuries, being injured in 05 and being injured in 06, you know, back to back. When I had, you know, such high aspirations, you know, the school, university, everybody had such high aspirations for me and expectations and goals. And, you know, being injured like that back to back in those 2 years, I didn't realize until maybe last year or not long before that, how much trauma, you know, once trauma became the big topic and the big subject, and mental health became such a big subject, and you begin to read and you begin to listen to the effects of it, and some of the things that people are going through, and some of the things that they're facing, and they're articulating, you know, this space, I was facing this, I was going through that, and I felt this. And you start to be like, well, I felt like that before too. I had thoughts along this line as well. So knowing that I internalized all of that for so many years, and now being in a space, in a mindset to actually talk about it openly and freely, and knowing that I can have an impact, and knowing that I can reach people with that story and with that message, I now want to share it even more. Because, you know, when I think back to when I was injured and when I was going through what I was going through, I knew I was down upon myself a lot, but I didn't really know to what effects that it had on me until not long ago.
Until you saw the light. You didn't realize how much of a dark space you were in.
I didn't have
until the light started coming through this window. Like, wait.
I didn't have any idea whatsoever. You know what I mean? So now looking back and being able to think like, yo, like, I was really, really going through it, and I could have talked to people about it, but I was just internalizing it because I wanted to just get healthy, get back on the field, and
keep pressing,
keep practicing,
and physically healthy. But we weren't even focused on being mentally healthy.
Right, I wasn't mentally or physically healthy, honestly. But the way I got through a lot of my pains, honestly, I used to be in so much pain. I started to sing to myself, you know, taking showers and stuff like that. So I would just come up with so many songs, and I would sing them at night and put myself to sleep, or try to sing myself through the pain. You know what I mean? So it was a very tumultuous time, you know, that I went through in college that I never really realized, never really talked about it. You know, this is probably one of the first times I'm talking about it on this scale openly. You know what I mean? So,
and that's huge because you know there is truth and transparency, and it lets you free yourself from that. But it also helps people identify, man, listen, I'm going through that too. I may be in a space with work, and then they can't go to their coworkers and say it, because if it's their coworkers or employees, then suddenly the people that you're around, they start looking at you as if you're weak. You can't go home and say it to your significant other, because then they think that you're stressing and everything else is just falling to pieces because you can't figure it out. So how do you get in a safe space? And we have to learn how to let people be who they are in that moment, because we all don't have it together. Dear life. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to figure it out. Like eagles, we have to learn how to fight while in flight. But it doesn't mean that we're not injured and that we're not swinging it, and life ain't swinging at us back too. So it's tough. And when you think about it on your scale as a grown man out there saying, I'm working through it, how does a child learn how to articulate that? You know, we think that the child is in the classroom cutting up, being bad, being disobedient. That child is crying out for help. The child is crying out saying, I am just trying to be seen, heard, understood. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not in a happy space right now.
And the thing about that is, if all of the kids are feeling the same way, because from what I'm starting to learn from some of the teachers and the principals that I've been speaking to, you know, once they get the kids and they sit them down and have conversations, most of the kids are having the same emotions, going through the same thing, having the same feelings. So if most of the kids are feeling afraid and they're frightened to even speak out, to say something about what's being done to them, they're internalizing that, and that becomes a traumatizing experience. But if a lot of the kids are experiencing the same thing, that's the reason why it's so much violence. That's the reason why so many kids acting out. And that's the reason why I hear that the kids are so out of control, because they're just acting out what they can't really share, what they're afraid to share for being talked about. Or some of them feeling as if they have spoken out about it before, but nobody listened. And it continues to happen. So they feel like the teachers are letting them down, or or the powers that be are letting them down, the principals are letting them down, so they don't say anything anymore because it just continues to happen. So that's a conversation that needs to be had, but where do we have that conversation?
Right.
If once you start to have the conversation, it gets shunned.
And how young is too young? You know, and these kids, they're starting to go through real life situations that we didn't have to deal with as young adults, that we didn't have to deal with as children. And now with social media, this instant gratification of people having to grow up right now. Kids, slow down, because it's a trap. Rule number one. But secondly, social media has also desensitized us so much because we'll use a hashtag and we'll highlight something, but we won't use the hashtag to find the resources to correct or heal something. And everything is just so exposed. So it's just like, oh, another one, oh, another one, oh, another one, from murders to suicide to depression. Everything is just a hashtag that goes under the wave.
So what do we do with that? I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, when you see everybody doing the same thing for the most part, you just see people swiping. You see them just want to be the first person to take the picture. Hey, post this, such and such just got, such and such just did. I mean, where is the empathy in that? You know what I mean? Where is the human factor in that? But as you said, we've been so desensitized to whereas it's taking all of the emotions out. So now it's just a statistic. It's just a hashtag. It's just a post now. Like the person on the other side of that post doesn't have emotions. The person on the other side of that post doesn't have feelings, doesn't have a family, doesn't have a thinking pattern. That maybe they're going to see exactly what you posted and they're going to look at it and dwell on it. Then they're going to see the next one. Then they're going to go sit in the corner and be like, hey, the whole world is screaming and yelling at me. You know what I mean? So what's that line to whereas we begin to have conversations on a larger scale, or even on a small scale that can grow into a larger scale, to just combat some of the behaviors that we're actually exercising daily that people really don't believe is having an effect on people's mentality and their psyche, and is actually taking quite a toll on them, for real.
And it's very important, you know, and I see that we have this one, The Adventures of Stacey StarFace. Hi, Stacey StarFace. And, you know, we really want to get you out there for more schools, but I'm also seeing that we have Passionate Persistence Prevails. The man that attained his heart's desires. I got questions that need answers on this.
What you got for
Kirston, walk me through this. What we talking about in here?
That book actually, it evolved. It wasn't always the man that attained his heart's desires. And I know my face is on the cover, but that was only because and the smile's nice. The smile's real nice. But I mean, hit me up. Somebody need that smile now.
Somebody need this smile. Somebody need that. Go ahead, hit that man up, girl. Wait, was it live or was it Memorex? It's live. It's live.
Live at 5, baby. But it was The Man on the River. The title was The Man on the River. Because the way the story came to me, I was walking down the street one day and it just really smacked me upside the head. And I put it to the side, and the next 2 days it was the same thing. So one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and write it. But it's about a man who's he grew up on the Nile River, and he always wanted to cross to the other side, but he knew that there was a lot of things feathering in the bottom that could potentially make sure he don't get to the other side.
Man,
so
this is getting deep, isn't it?
By being attentive to his surroundings, he realized that, you know, there was different sets of footsteps on the beach every day, on a riverbank per se. And so he told himself, maybe if I get up, these people could help me with a piece of information or give me some advice on how to cross to the other side. So that's why it's called, that's why the subtitle is Passionate Persistence Prevails, because all of the years he lived there, he never could get to the other side, but he made one choice, which is all it takes sometimes, one decision. And he got up early, somebody gave him some advice, and then the story continues to go on, and destiny prevails.
I love it. You know, I always remind, especially my students, that the journey begins before the first step is ever taken. You know, it's like you have to come up in your mind and say that I'm going to do this and put forth the thought process with the effort. And I'm loving this because passionate persistence prevails. And I mean, you can't get a plan and not put it in motion and expect it to do some things. But then if we go here, you got it's another one. It's another man brought a collection. I like it. The story of Nicholas Christmas. Oh, and it's almost that time too. This would be the ultimate stocking stuffer, might I add.
That's a nice segue. That's
anytime. That's what I'm here for. Flight School, the story of Nicholas Christmas by I know this guy, Kirston J. Pittman. Tell me a little bit about this one. It's dedicated to the dreamer. That's me. That's me, the dreamer.
Possibilities. Are possible. Flight School, the story of Nicholas Christmas is about the #1 basketball player in high school in America, and faces a little adversity the night before his state championship game. overcomes the adversity, plays in the game, and so he ends up going to Georgetown. And once he gets to Georgetown, some old familiar family friends stop by and say, hey, some things happened in the past and you have to pick up where they left off. So he's going to be at Georgetown as the #1 player in the world, running a full cartel operation at the same time. And so he's going to have to decide, how he's going to go forward. Is he going to be a full-time street guy, or will he be a full-time athlete, or can he have the best of both worlds? You know what I mean?
You know what? Okay, so let's talk about it.
I know some people that did both.
How successful were they at both?
Ooh,
because something has to die in order for something to live.
I don't know.
And I think often we want to have the best of both worlds, but when it comes down to deciding and to dedicating and being committed to seeing something all the way through, we see that we can't be on this little teeter-totter trying to figure that out. So
gotta be able to focus. Gotta have that discipline.
Focus, man.
Focus, man.
Focus, man.
Focus, man. So he ends up focusing and exercising. I can't tell the story, but
you kind of can.
Everything's available. Everything. I'm just kidding.
No, really. How can we find the books?
All of the books are available on Amazon. You can go and check them out. Amazon.com, Amazon KDP, The Man That Attained His Heart's Desire, The Adventures of Stacey StarFace, Flight School, The Story of Nicholas Christmas. Everything's available on Amazon. And Kirstons.com. That's KIRSTONS.com. Kirstons.com. Shop and buy.
I like it. Shop and buy. I'll always say that this is an open invitation for you. This is your first field trip to the Madhouse. Don't let it be your last. I look forward to doing more work with you. Yes, please. Welcome back. And I even have more coffee and some snacks for you. Hold on a second. Like, you've earned this today. That's yours. Yours. You've earned that.
My snack. Not everybody come through and get the snack.
That's right, I got you.
And I got some coffee, but they ain't cut the check yet, so I can't even show the cup. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but just know that the cup is there and the coffee is good.
The coffee is good, but when the check cut next time,
I'll let you know whose coffee was good.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my goodness, man. Listen, I'm not about to sit here and fight with you today.
Why not?
But this is what we're going to do, though.
Okay.
We're going to challenge all of those students. We're going to challenge all of those parents, all of those facilities that are actually housing events that would like for us to come and make the field trip. I would love to see you speaking to the kids, especially when it comes down to this anti-bullying type situation, right? So let's get more active, close this year out a lot stronger than we started, because you see babies out here being faced with really dim times. And just to see that someone cares, someone is there to listen, and someone is there to tell them that there is light at the end of the tunnel, that's what we're here to do. Open the line of communication and nurturing the future in the present, because what we do today really matters.
Definitely.
So look, you got more work to do. I'm gonna let you chase the sun, or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it.
Get after it.
I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you so much. I love you back.